If sports teaches us anything, it's to accept our victories as well as our defeats with quiet dignity and grace. This is RamView.
It's hot out there, but let's blow them off the line of scrimmage. Headline,
Live from the RamCave, I'm Joe Trosian, and this is RamView, the October 2nd, 2024 edition, brought to you by Kistler Law Firm. Injured in an auto accident? Need help? Got questions? Call Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. That's Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. And check out KistlerLawFirm.com. That's one word, KistlerLawFirm.com. Kistler Law, they've been fighting for you since 92. And by Temple City Auto Repair. Having some auto issues? Get yourself some John and Henry at TempleCityAutoRepair.com. And of course, by Benched, the app. Don't take a zero. Don't take a loss in your fantasy team. Download Benched, the app today. All right. So what are we going to do? Are we going to cry and whine? It is what it is. The Rams are 1-3. Strong possibility they'll be 1-4 heading into the bye week. Is it the season we wanted? No, it's not the season we wanted. Is the season over? No, I refuse to believe the season is over, which everyone who's whining right now were the same people whining about the Rams last year after the first 9 games. They were the same ones. Same people. Rams are dead. Rams are toast. Blah, blah, blah. Season's over. Fire McVay. McSnead. Fire Snead. Snead sucks. Yada, yada, yada. Right? Okay. Let's give them a shot. They've got credit in our account, right? Let's give them a shot and let's see what happens. And then we can come back and do all our complaining. All right. But let's look at some positives for the Rams, right? Before we get into the breakdown a little bit of this week and what's happening, look at the positives for the Rams. You might not like the way they're finishing. And even though Jared Verse finished a couple of plays that got wiped out because of the secondary last week, but Jared Verse and Braden Fisk are hits. The Rams were right to move from the 51st spot in the draft to the 39th spot in the draft to take Fisk. They absolutely were. So this is going to work out in the long run. They just got to continue to grow. They're still rookies. They got to continue to grow. Jordan Whittington was a hit, right? We're looking at Xavier Worthy, Adonai Mitchell, and Jordan Whittington were the 3 starting receivers for the Texas Longhorns. Everyone knew Adonai Mitchell. Everyone knew Xavier Worthy, right? Now, Worthy is playing in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and all that stuff there. He's made some noise. Adonai Mitchell has not made any noise yet. He's on one of my fantasy teams. I thought maybe, possibly, But Jordan Whittington is a hit. And you could see it, man, not just the way he's catching the ball, but do you see him blocking? Now everyone's going to go back to him and Parkinson trying to block Montez Sweat the other day, but that's a one-off. Forget that. Watch how he fills the lane and he blocks. Jordan Whittington is a hit. Is he going to be Puka? Is he going to be Cooper Kupp? Not saying that, but the Rams have scored on Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, and Jordan Whittington. Oh, by the way, all 3 of those guys were drafted this year. Oh, the 4th guy drafted this year, Josh Carty. Josh Carty is a hit. I think the field goal he made going the same direction, further out, proved they got the right guy at kicker. Right now, he's fine. He's doing a good job. He's a hit. Ethan Evans has proved to be a hit as a punter, okay? He really has. Last year, Kobe Turner was a hit. He's okay this year, depending on how you want to break it down. Would we like to see some more plays out of Kobe Turner? Yeah, we would. But right now, he's okay. He's good. Byron Young is okay to good, but he's making plays. He's a hit, right? Right now, you're not seeing anybody but Hoyt get other snaps as an edge player. And you're seeing Hoyt, as we talked about last week, this whole offseason, don't be surprised to see Hoyt come back inside a little bit. And they're moving Hoyt all the way around. In fact, if you check out some video, Youngblood on one of the Rams, Youngblood 53 on one of the Rams message boards. He breaks down a lot of stuff, shows a lot of video. You can see him on Twitter as well. Was showing how the Rams had moved Jared Verse around. They moved Hoyt around. Rams are being creative here. This is good stuff. And Byron Young is one of those guys. Brennan hasn't, Carnage Jackson has not played, right? Brennan hasn't played. Nick Hampton hasn't played. The Rams are happy with Byron Young, very happy with Jared Verse. So this looks good. Limmer, so okay last week, but Limmer as a sixth round pick, pick, no one was expecting anything. And if anything, when Jonah Jackson and Steve Avila come back, and hopefully they come back up to snuff, Limmer's an excellent depth piece. No one's going to have heart palpitations if those guys go out for another game or so, because we do feel some confidence in Limmer. He's getting all kinds of snaps that's going to make him better. Those reps are going to make him better later in the season and going forward. Oh, and by the way, Rob Havenstein can still play. We don't know about that stinger, but he can still play. Alaric Jackson is good enough for right now. Rams go to the playoffs. If everything else was right with this offense right now, finishing in the red zone, all those things, defense can get the back porch taken care of. Alaric Jackson, Rob Havenstein, you kill Germans with those guys. I'm speaking like Patton, right? They can make those guys work, right? They can put them to good use, right? They'll kill Nazis with those guys. They can go to the NFC title game if they have a Havenstein and Alaric Jackson. Now, they're good enough to get you there. I don't know if the rest of the team is enough to get you there, but Havenstein and Alaric Jackson, when healthy, are good enough to get you there. Kyron Williams is proving to be great, right? Kyron Williams is showing out in a fantastic way. Also, he's been getting the rock for 4 weeks now, for a month into the season. I haven't heard too many complaints about him being nicked up, bruised up, being dinged up, banged up. There's a place that we can go to there that's like, okay, knock on Formica. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt anytime soon. But so far he's been great. Part of the reason Blake Corum's on the bench, right? And we've heard that coaching malpractice. Oh, it just drives me crazy. Bad sports writing. Blake Corum's on the bench because Kyron Williams is good, and he knows how to pick up the blitz, right? Ronnie Rivers is an experienced pro. He knows how to pick up the blitz, and he has Sean McVay's confidence, right? Blake Corum's going to play. But until then, let's just make sure we mention Kyron Williams is great. Matthew Stafford is still great, okay? These are things that the Rams have. Hopefully, Darius Williams is coming back. Larrell Murchison's coming back soon. Hopefully, you get Jackson and Havens and Avila back. That's good news. I never thought I would say this in 2024. The Rams really need John Johnson back. That's the one we need back. And to me, if you're asking me right now, what's screwing up things mostly for Chris Shula, it's not the running game that gave up one big play, the running defense. They gave up one big play to DeAndre Swift. One carry, 36 yards, touchdown, when he carried the ball 15 times for only 57 yards the rest of the game. All right? Let's not drink the Kool-Aid, grab the low-hanging fruit of the KBM. What's killing the Rams right now is that secondary. The corners aren't playing well enough, good enough, and the safeties have been miserable. Right now, if you're asking me, Cam Curl's been a bust. Cam Curl's been awful. I would hope if the other guys come back, the Rams could find a way to maybe use Quentin Lake and John Johnson at safety and just do something here. I know they put money into Cam Curl, but this is really bad. And it's making Chris Shula look bad, and people are wanting Chris Shula's scalp. So anyway, got that out of the way. There's more positive here to take going forward. We don't look like the Tennessee Titans. We don't look like the Miami Dolphins. We don't look like the New England Patriots. Amen? All right. We've beaten the 49ers this year. This team can summon up what it needs to summon up, right? So let's go. All right. Ram stuff right off the top. Happy to be wrong. Hope I'm wrong. But as of right now, Wednesday, 5:18 in the p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I don't like the Rams this Sunday against Green Bay. I'm just not feeling it. If I thought something was going to change in the red zone immediately, I'd be different. If I thought the safeties were going to suddenly wake up, maybe I'd think differently. I'm hoping that when Jordan Love plays against the Rams, he's a real hybrid of Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. I hope he's more Brett Favre than Aaron Rodgers and takes some gambles and pays for them, right? If some of those things were going to happen, I'd think differently. But right now, I'm leaning Green Bay. Still working in the Rams' favors, the stuff I mentioned. Stafford is healthy, and So that gives me some hope. And finally, the Packers are coming to SoFi. They haven't been out here since what, 2018? Was it 2018 when the Rams won at the Coliseum? But yeah, it's just hard to see this team right now flipping that switch. I hope they do. I'm glad to say I'm wrong. But they are getting the Packers here and not at Lambeau for the first time in 4 year, right? 4 meetings in the last 4 years, and they're always in Lambeau. Speaking of the hit being Jordan Whittington, I thought it was really interesting. Just as the league perceives him, the experts perceive him. I'm always, again, I talk about PFF being a place to start, and guys, I see your questions, and I'll get there real soon before we get to around the NFL and other places. But isn't it interesting that PFF grades 122 receivers? The guy that's graded 25th overall is Jordan Whittington. The guy that's graded 13th overall is Tutu Atwell. Mr. Burns and all you Creed Humphrey sycophants out there, put that in your pipe and smoke it. All right. Number 3, the lack of real analytics in football, I think, is causing folks to think Chris Shula is failing. It's the secondary that's failing. It's the defense being put in bad spots. It's not a great defense, but it's a good enough defense. The secondary is failing. And 17 points the defense gave up last week. Team gives up 17 points in the NFL. Your offense should score 18. Oh, the Rams did score 18 points, but they gave away a touchdown too. I'm getting sick of the Chris Shula bashing right now. Let's see how bad. I remember the start of 2022, and I think I was one of the guys that started FireRaheem.org, or something like that. I hashtag fired Raheem. It was that bad. The Rams were playing so passive. So let's just chill and not worry about Chris Shula just now. Number 4, Rams cut Tanner Brown again. Cam Lampkin is in the street. I'm kind of hoping for Tanner Brown. One of these days he gets to kick at SoFi. Just get him a field goal. All right. As of today, right now, Alaric Jackson's going to be at left tackle. Logan Bruss. There's some good film on Logan Bruss out there. Ignore the PFF grades. The PFF grades aren't great, but you can see where Logan Bruss is making progress. Bo Limmer is, again, a rookie getting snaps. He has the confidence of McVay and Stafford. He's going to get better. Kevin Dotson, he's grading well, but I think he's been a little subpar, but we'll live with it. And Rob Havenstein, he had that stinger issue or something going on in Chicago, but he's played well. All those guys are expected to start this week. That's nice. That'll be a third week together. Maybe they get reps during the bye week, and then more and more time together. It only is going to help this offensive line until Avila and Jackson come back. All right, let's look at some of the questions, guys. Thank you for waiting for me. Biozio, Mets. Yes, I'm a Met fan. Grew up a Dodger fan. I've only been to New York once, never been to Shea, but my first World Series that I actually saw was the 73 series with the Mets and the A's. And so, yeah. And then Oscar Madison and the Odd Couple always wore a Mets hat, and I was a sports writer. So I've always been a Mets fan. Second team. The Dodgers were first. And then the Dodgers made the Time Warner deal. And the last 2 years that Vince Scully was on the air, the Dodgers, those scumbags, denied their fan base. Up to 75% of their fan base at one point, Vince Scully in his last 2 years. All the past we leave behind with Scully, right? About the only thing that keeps me somewhat interested is the Ravine. I love Chavez Ravine, but you know what? Forget the Dodgers, man. I am a Met fan. Been a Met fan since the spring of 2025. And when I came out as a Met fan, right? I had to come out as a Met fan. My friends turned on me. Literally, I was not invited to watch games with my friends. They said, oh, no, we only watch games with Dodger fans. And, I was kicked to the curb hard. But you know what? I'm a Met fan. And everything this year has been gravy. Everything. This was not a year they were supposed to compete. And, they competed. Lindor, that big home run, that incredible eighth in Atlanta on the first game of the doubleheader. Yesterday, the job the bullpen did to shut them down. Yeah. Love the Mets. I am a Met guy. Tim Burns, Stetson Bennett wearing Bama gear is slightly odd. I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all. It's funny how no one talks about Stetson Bennett anymore. Mr. Powers, No complaints about Lambeau this year. Come out with fury and win, then heal up at the bye. Let's go Rams. Play angry, right? Play angry. I could remember playing a basketball game. I was a sophomore in high school, and we were getting hammered under our own boards, right? We were getting hammered. We just couldn't do anything. And I remember I came running in, and I wasn't the most elegant of people. I could shoot the ball, but I came in and I kind of stumbled a little bit. But what I did was I threw my body sideways into two defenders under our hoop. I got the foul and knocked everybody down like bowling pin. And then when I went to the sideline, my coach congratulated me. He says, "Thank you. I'm glad somebody else was upset watching them play volleyball under our hoop." And yeah, sometimes you just got to come out mad. Sometimes you just got to get plumb mad dog mean. Sometimes you just got to grill them. I agree, Mr. Powers. Come out, have some pride, get angry, get angry. Bill, there's no reason the Rams can't beat the Packers and Raiders and even their record. I think with this roster, they should be able, definitely the Raiders. With the roster as it's constructed, they can beat the Packers, but this roster is not performing. And I think we're going after a red herring in terms of, let's blame the inside linebackers. Not great. They're not great inside linebackers, but they're playing where we expect them to play, and they're not the reason. Look at your secondary. The cornerbacks aren't on the snuff, and basically Cam Curl right now is stealing money. And when I was listing a whole bunch of rookies who have been hits, the number 99 pick overall, Cam Kitchens, has not. He's not even Taylor Rapp yet. There we go. Tim Burns, Stafford and McVay say they are addressing red zone issues. Realistically, what can they do to be successful inside the 20? Load it up. Give me Hunter Long. Pound the frickin' rock. Did I just cuss? I used the F word. Pound the frickin' rock. I'll say it one more time. Pound the frickin' rock. Pound it. Make sure you're not throwing on 1st and goal at the 9. Let's run the ball 1st and goal at the 9. Let's get to the 6. Open up some options, right? Again, with the receivers they have, they're not going to be getting the open looks they're getting when Stafford is driving them downfield. In that condensed area, you need a unique kind of receiver. That's where a Nakua stands out. That's where a Kupp stands out. That's where a Tyler Higbee stands out. They're not there. So what do? I'm not throwing a fade to DeMarcus Robinson when I need a 2-point conversion. A fade for goodness sakes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pound the rock. I think they can figure it out, Mr. Burns. Tim Burns, Kobe Turner is out of position a lot, but I think he is trying to compensate for others around him. Yeah, they have moved him a bit. They've moved him around a bit. And I'm wondering, if other teams are. I haven't really done the metrics on it, looked at it, but I'm going to keep an eye on him. I'm going to have to go back and look at it. Is he getting some double team action? They know he can play. He's not popping this year. He's not playing horrible. He's just not popping. And when he starts to pop, along with everyone else coming together, if that happens in the second half, the Rams are going to be okay. Unless Cam Curl can straighten himself out, right? Okay, Bill, Hummel and Spates need to start. What could it hurt? Well, you still got Cam Curl back there. You still got Kitchens back there. I'm not arguing with you. Troy Reader, for the most part, is playing above his head. You're not going to get any better out of Troy Reader or Christian Rosebud. But they're not the reason we're struggling. Now, would I try to work Spates in for some snaps? Absolutely. Let's work Spates in for some snaps, and let's see what we got. But I have no problem with that. I'm not in love with those guys in the sense that if they cut them yet tomorrow, like they got rid of Kenny Young and got rid of other guys over time at that linebacker spot, okay, I'm good with it. I'll dance. If you could get rid of Ernest Jones, you could get rid of Troy Reader and Christian Roseboom. I just don't think they're the reason. I think the poor play of the secondary is what's hurting everybody right now. Tim Burns, 5 minutes ago, the injury report has DeMarcus Robinson limited, so let's get Smith some touches and let him run. Okay, I must have missed. I was waiting for that injury report. Thank you for sharing that with me. If there's anything more pertinent, let me know. That'll be great. I appreciate that. But yeah, DeMarcus Robinson, I like DeMarcus Robinson, but he's kind of playing a 1 and he's a number 3, right? They're asking a lot of him. And I don't know. I didn't see the matchups. Was Jalen Johnson on him with the Bears? So yeah, I like Demarcus Robinson. I hope he's not too banged up. Limited on Wednesday doesn't mean he's a no-go on Sunday. And I'll agree with you, Mr. Burns. Wherever you can fit someone like Xavier Smith in, I'm down. I'm down with you on that. I think it's okay. Let's see. Bill, why not put D. White at safety? Why not? I don't think that's where they see him right now. I don't think he's ready to play there right now. But do you guys all agree with me? Cam Curl's been a whiff so far. Now, I think he can come around, and Kitchens needs more time. We need JJ back big time. I'm for anything that makes that back porch better, and it's been bad. Let's see. Tim Burns, bottom line, losing Ernest Jones is the thing killing us. Really? I think he struggles at his new team because he was traded so late. Losing him was devastating. Again, some of the penalties they've been hit with in the secondary, the Burns, the out of position play in the secondary, I think that's hurt us a lot worse than Ernest Jones. But you're welcome to your opinion, Mr. Burns. Okay, Tim Powers, these mobile quarterbacks are a thorn in the Rams' side. I think it's they played Kyler Murray. Caleb Williams didn't run around as much. Purdy, they had him a couple times. If they finish, it's not going to be an issue. I don't think Jordan Love is going to move as much against the Rams, but Jordan Love doesn't need to move as much as people think. That guy's mobile, but he's a good quarterback. So there's an opportunity there, but yeah, nothing's easy for the Rams if they can't finish, right? Steve Ramirez is upset with my Mets shirt. I know he is. Manny Correa, I'm glad you made it. Excellent. Steve Ramirez, enough with the trick plays, Bert. Run the dang ball. Okay, there you go. It worked. It worked there in Mississippi, maybe, or was it Tennessee where Michael Ora was from? Run the dang ball. Thank you, Mr. Ramirez. Darius Williams, Tribe. Thank you for joining us, Tribe. Darius Williams is supposed to be back this week. They opened him up. I don't know if he's been activated yet. I'm all for if they activate him. I'm wondering what the team is going to be feeling. Like, if you can buy him and buy that hamstring 2 more weeks, because if he doesn't play this week or plays limited reps this week or no reps, then you got the bye week and you bring him back for week 7 and he should be even healthier. That's going to be something to keep an eye on. Manuel Correa agrees Omar Spates needs to play. Tim Burns, I'm talking Ernest Jones, the leader, captain. There is no leader right now. I'll agree with you on that. I won't argue with that right now. Who is the leader? I think if Jared Verse finished, because he talks a lot, people have talked about Verse's leadership. I think if he could finish a few more plays, I think he would elevate to that spot, and hopefully he does. Bill, go Phillies. Oh, that's right. You're a Pennsylvania guy. Man, I'll never forget Asdrubal Cabrera's home run against you guys that a few years ago that just made my night. Anyway, here we go. Phillies are really good. Okay, around the NFL and other places, guys, load up on the questions. Happy to do that part of the show. Tyreek Hill. Okay, this is why I'm probably going to do a podcast on either Tuesday or Thursday, because this made me so angry, and it's my fault. It's all my fault. So I'm watching that disaster in Miami on Monday night, right? That we have to go back and forth for because the NFL and ESPN are too dense to actually schedule a doubleheader where the country could watch both games and maybe show more commercials and make more revenue. Anyway, so that game was bad, but I'm going to watch bad games. You just love watching football. But anyway, Tyreek Hill is going off. He's not doing anything because there's no one to get him the ball. But he's going off and he's yelling, and you see McDaniel just staring out into space on the field, and he's hearing it. My feeling is I'm getting rid of him. That's what I was thinking. And my first thought was Monday night, trade him back to the Chiefs, right? Trade him back to the Chiefs. The most important thing at this point now is get out of his contract, and saying it now, I look really stupid. I get it. Everyone else said it before me. This is why I gotta I got to do the From the RamCave podcast on Tuesdays. I got to find time to do 10 minutes there. But I'd trade him to Kansas City for a couple of second rounders and just get out of his contract. Get out of his contract for your coach's sake. And if your coach can't see that and he wants to keep that guy around, then you chose the wrong coach. You got Jalen Waddle. Free up some dough, right? And rebuild your offensive line. Free up some dough and bring in another receiver who's a legitimate 2 and make Waddle your 1 and get rid of Tyreek Hill. The bubble is bursting for these receivers. I think the Brandon Ayuk contract is telling us a whole lot, is that you can get another receiver. Rams got Nakua in the 5th round, Kupp in the 3rd round. They got Jawan Jennings in 7th round, 6th round in Frisco. You can find another receiver, right? Get out of that business. And that's my recommendation to the Dolphins. The Seahawks, watching that game on Monday night, they scare me. All of a sudden, I'm sitting there watching that, and I'm looking at Geno Smith play so far above his head that maybe that is who he is, and play tough, right? But all I can tell myself is maybe they'll be all banged up by the time they play the Rams. And the truth was they were banged up on Monday night. But Tyler Lockett always gets hurt. Kenneth Walker always gets hurt. They're already having injuries on their offensive line. So I'm looking at that Seahawks team, and I'm thinking, dang, they do look pretty good. They look pretty good. And, I bagged those two Seahawks games as Ram wins at the start of the year. I'm going to have to rethink those things. But hopefully Seattle's going to Seattle and get hurt and banged up, and things will be different by the time the Rams play them. Speaking of injuries, Cowboys put DeMarcus Lawrence on IR. Steelers put James Daniels, guard, on season-ending injury with an Achilles injury. Jaguars signed former Rams practice squad guy Tyler Hall, defensive back, former running back, draft pick of the Rams, Jake Funk, to their practice squad. I think on Friday's show, I'm going to do a Jake Funk tracking section. This guy is bouncing all over the league. This guy has been everywhere. Detroit, Indy, Jackson, everywhere. It's fun that he just keeps pursuing his dream. Coach is on the hot seat. If Doug Peterson loses in Indy this week, I definitely think he is in serious trouble. Philly, Nick Sirianni got off the hook because the Eagles are on a bye. Saleh, I think, is in trouble. And if not, I don't know. It goes back to the Mike McDaniel thing. When you're in a spot like this, and I know this is going to sound arrogant. If you're going to lead, then you're going to lead. I am not kissing anybody's butt, or I just won't lead. Either, like William Holden said in the Wild Bunch, I either lead this bunch or I end it right now, right? If you're the head coach, you deal with this as a pastor sometimes. You go to a new church and people are telling you what to do. And it's like, whoa. Hey, we'll listen, we'll consult, we'll talk. But you know what? That decision is mine. And at a certain point, Saleh's got to nut it up and do something. I think Rodgers has been so disrespectful to him. No job is worth somebody humiliating you. And he needs to step up. And now they're talking about making the move for Devontae Adams. I think they got needs beyond that. I think they got offensive line needs, but I just think they have leadership needs, right? And if they don't like Hackett, if people are bagging Hackett and Hackett is that bad as the OC, you know what you need to tell Aaron Rodgers? Sorry, I'm getting rid of him. You're going to do this, and we're putting your butt in the street. We're done with you. And he might lose his job, but you know what? I'd rather lose my job standing on some form of integrity and principle than just being a pincushion and looking like a joke around the league. So there we go. Go solid. Do something. Also, watching Sam Darnold, right? Every time that guy gets a completion and throws a touchdown pass, I hear a cash register ringing because he's a free agent next year. But it's interesting, though. He finds himself with Kevin O'Connell, finds his career, revives his career, but does he dare leave the Vikings and go someplace else where Kevin O'Connell is not? Sam Darnold's going to be really interesting to watch because it looks like he's off to a special year. Maybe it's a one-off, but it's also he's in Minnesota. Kevin O'Connell is doing well. J.J. McCarthy is coming back. And if Darnold plays well, do they extend him? They give him a 3-year deal, 4-year deal? Someone's going to offer him money, and you make McCarthy sit? Or Darnold's still a young guy. If you believe that Darnold's your guy and Darnold gets you to the promised land, do you make McCarthy available by trade? You don't have to trade him because he's on his rookie contract, but you might be able to get something. Also, another name to keep an eye on free agent next year is Justin Fields. I'm curious that if Steelers go 9-8, because that's all they care about, they go 9-8, do they go, oh, yeah, Justin Fields is our guy. We got to sign him to a 4-year deal. Do they keep Justin Fields? All right, guys, I'm Joe Chirozzi, a sports writer for 21 years. Now I get to do RamView, thanks to our sponsors at Kistler Law and Bench the app. If you're tired of losing your fantasy games because you forgot to check on your lineup, with Bench the app, that's a thing of the past. Benched is the only app that ensures you never leave a non-starting player in your lineup. Don't miss out on crucial points. Don't be the one who forgot to bench a player on game day. Win your league, keep your pride, deliver some spite, and let Bench the app handle the rest. Download Bench the app today and dominate your fantasy season. Amen? Amen. Okay. So thanks to our sponsors and my books that you guys have supported me. Game Day in the RamCave. I can't encourage you enough. I got some good reviews on this. They just haven't been posted to Amazon yet. But it is a fictional account of the Rams in the NFC Championship game and what friends go through trying to watch it. A lot of you have purchased. I want to say thank you for your support. We don't have a paywall and we don't have a Patreon. So we depend on you folks for picking up this stuff. And all my books are on Amazon. I do these things because I pastor a small church. They supplement my income. I pastor a small church in Burbank called Burbank Faith Nazarene. You can spot us right here on YouTube at Burbank Faith Virtual and even subscribe to that there. And you can find us on Facebook, Burbank Faith Virtual, online, burbankfaithvirtual.com, and Burbank Faith Virtual across social media. All right, let's see some other questions as they've rolled in. Let's see. Tim Burns. Okay, no. Go Phillies. Tim Powers. Send Tutu on multiple fly patterns and give Stafford time. Combined with Williams, roll it out. Keep the Packers guessing. I'm for anything that puts the ball in Atwell's hands. Have you noticed how many times he has flashed in motion? Speaking of Atwell, he keeps flashing in motion, and it kind of like hints at the jet sweep, but they never give him the ball. 4 games in, he hasn't touched the ball on that kind of option play. And sooner or later, I don't care if you only get 1 yard or you lose a yard, but you want to give him the ball. You want to make the defense see it in film. You want other opponents see it. Oh, they're going to give that to Atwell. I think you need to find creative ways. I thought it was interesting. Who was it? Who did they put in the backfield? Oh, my gosh. I'm watching a game the other day, and they put their wide receiver in the backfield. Oh, the Cowboys. The Cowboys last Thursday night, I thought it was pretty creative. For one play, they did a little student body right. They pitched the ball to CeeDee Lamb, who was lined up at running back. Just these different looks. Give Atwell an opportunity. As many touches as you can give him, give it to him. He's in his last year of his contract, right? Chances are really minimal that you're going to re-sign him. Let him play super well. Let him play great. And then if you want to re-sign him. But if you don't, go get the comp pick, But, yeah, I'm for anything, Mr. Powers, that puts more touches for Tutu Atwell. Why not trade Hill to the Rams? Which Hill is that? Help me with that. Which Hill? Help me with that one, Mr. Bill. No joke intended there. Which Hill are we talking about? Let me know. I'm just banging away here. Not sure which one you mean by that. Okay. I posted this around social media. I think I posted it on Twitter. People were talking about Ernest Jones, right? And everyone was talking about his stats after week 2 because all of his stats were in the green for Tennessee. When you're in the green, that means you're very good. When you're in the blue, you're off the charts. So against the Jets in week 2, Ernest Jones' stats were in the green. His overall defensive play was in the green. His tackling was in the green. His pass rush was in the green. His coverage was in the green. Against Green Bay, they all dropped off significantly. When you drop to the orange, it means you're average. When you drop to the red, it means you're bad. And he dropped into the red. And then this last week against Miami, Tyler Huntley, no Odell Beckham, Tyreek Hill, whatever. Oh, you're talking about Tyreek Hill. Okay. Maybe you mean Tyreek Hill, Bill. I'll get to that. you got all those guys there, and yet there's no quarterback to give them the ball, and Ernest Jones had a bad game statistically, grade wise. If we're putting all of our trust in the PFF, it's like we use PFF when we like it, we don't when we don't want it. But again, I don't think Ernest Jones, spiritual leader, maybe Mr. Burns has something to say there, but in terms of his overall play, I don't know. I don't think the Rams will really commit that kind of dough. All right, you hear the talk about Cooper Kupp getting traded. We talked about that on Monday. I haven't heard too much of it since. If that trade was made, he was going to Kansas City. I don't see Kansas City making that move because of his health. But I make the deal because of his contract, right? He's in his 30s. I think we've got the impression now we've seen the best of Cooper Kupp. He's still going to play well, but we're going to see it in smaller sips. And then the question came up. It was beginning of yesterday, Davante Adams. I thought that would have been the stupidest trade. He's more linked going to New York with the Jets than he is with the Rams now. But Davante Adams is 32. The next 2 seasons, his cap hit is 44 rocks in 2025 and 2026, right? Now his dead cap is not punishing, but the truth is you're going to make a deal. What pieces are you going to give up to the Raiders to bring Davante Adams in? I like Davante Adams, but honestly, right? I mean, what are you going to do, right? I just don't see it. Is Jordan Whittington the problem? Is Atwell the problem? Yeah, you would like a receiver, a big receiver in the end zone, but he's got to learn the offense. He's got to develop rapport with Matthew Stafford. I don't know about Davante Adams. I just didn't like that idea. Now it looks like he's more of the Jets, and I think the Jets are kind of silly for looking at him because they need more than Davante Adams. Just speaking again, as we get closer to the draft or the trade deadline, the Rams draft capital in 2025 is down. There's only 7 picks this year. Only 1 comp pick. That's for Raheem Morris going to Atlanta. But the Rams have their number 1. They have 2 number 3s. They have a number 4. And then they have 3 6s. That's a good amount of draft picks, and you can do stuff with that. And then as far as 2026, they have a full complement. What is the trade deadline? End of October? Is it the end of October, first week of November? I'll take correction, guys. Correct me on that. If they could do that, if they get back into the swing of things, so to speak, pick off 3 wins in a row, maybe are 4-4 at the end of October. Maybe they can make a big move, and there's chips there to play with. I only heard Demarcus Robinson in terms of injuries. Davis Allen, we haven't seen since week 1. I love it when I see the report, Cooper Kupp out this week. It's like we all knew Cooper Kupp was going to be out. It's like they're trying to tell us something new and exciting. I am excited about Darius Williams and Larrell Murchison coming back soon. Of course, we want it to be now, but if this game doesn't look like we're going to win, rest him this week, rest him in the bye week, and then comes back week 7, and maybe he's even healthier. Amen. All right, let's see what I got here. Bill, why not trade for Tyreek Hill? The Dolphins, Steve Ramirez, I hope he doesn't need Tyreek Hill. That would be a disaster. I don't think Tyreek Hill fits the character profile for the Rams. Multiple baby mamas. What does he have? 10 kids, 5 different moms, 4 different moms, whatever it is. I don't think he fits the character thing the Rams are looking for. Also, budget-wise, I don't think the Rams want to pay for that. I think Kansas City proved they won a Super Bowl with Tyreek Hill, but they've won 2 more without him. I think a good quarterback, a great quarterback like Patrick Mahomes shows that you can elevate your receivers. I think a great quarterback like Matthew Stafford has shown he can elevate his receivers. It's just a question of time and everything. So, yeah, I don't see that one at all. I wouldn't go down that route. Road at all. Just wouldn't. SM, as the days pass, I'm feeling better about the Rams' chances against Green Bay. All right, man. I'm going to work through week 5. SM, state your case. State your case why you're feeling better about the Rams' chances versus Green Bay. I'd love to hear it. Right now, I'm not feeling so good. So let's get to week 5. In week 4, I was 7-9. After 2 8-8 weeks, I've had a rough start this year. Last year, I was 180-92. I wasn't underwater but one time last year. And I've just had a bad start, right? Bad start. Okay, Thursday night, looking forward to it. Buccaneers-Falcons, the Rich McKay Bowl. This should be a great game. Atlanta's weird, right? Atlanta's weird, but they've somehow got their way to 2-2. I went against Tampa Bay because I thought Philly would be desperate. I didn't know they were, sick in the soul. So I'm going with the Buccaneers again this time in Atlanta on Thursday night. Sunday in the Ed Marinaro Bowl, I'm taking the Vikings over the Jets. That's going to be played over in London. Would I like to see the Jets throw the Vikings out of whack for a few weeks, see them get off the track and not well when the Rams face them downstream? What I want and what I get are two different things, and I think the Jets are lined up to get chopped. Let's see. Panthers, Bears in the Machine Muhammad Bowl. Bears have an opportunity to build. It's the Bears, so we're going to find out, can they put 2 weeks together? The Red Rifle is playing really well for Carolina. Gets another whack at one of his former teams. So that one should be interesting. And just a little side note, is Machine Muhammad one of the most forgotten receivers of the early 21st century? This guy had a heck of a career out of Michigan State, second or third round pick, Carolina. Wow, this guy had a nice career. And he had over 800 catches. He was possession receiver, but the Moose Muhammad, yeah, people forget about him. Ravens at Bengals. My pick is the Ravens, but I'm wondering, is this the week they had another hiccup? Because you just never know with the Bengals. If the Bengals couldn't handle the Texans at home, are they going to handle the Ravens? You just never. And then will somebody get off the Joe Burrow and Cincy is built to stop KC bandwagon? Getting sick of it. Bills at Texans, the Stephon Diggs Bowl. I think everyone wants a piece of this one. I think this is going to be very physical, and I'm not ready to make a call on that. I'll make it on Friday. Colts, Jaguars. I like the Jags at home. If the Jags can't beat the Colts at home, then Peterson is going to be fired, right? He's got to be fired. You could turn your season around a little bit, get to 1-4, bring the Colts back down to 3-2. Maybe if the Bills win, the Texans drop to 3-2, and maybe you got some life in the AFC South. But if you go 0-5, as Cedric Hardman once said, you can kiss the baby. You're gone. Dolphins, Patriots, in the Nick Bonacani Bowl. Will anyone watch? I got a feeling this is going to be WNBA ratings without Caitlin Clark, right? That's going to be a tough watch. I like the Patriots at home, and there we go. Browns, Taxskins, the Ernest Biner Bowl. It's tough to pick against the Taxskins right now. I don't think anyone could pick with a Deshaun Watson. The sad part about Deshaun Watson is he's out there playing every week, and so we're just not seeing anything get better. It's just not getting better. Raiders at Broncos in the Mike Shanahan Bowl. I'll say it. Vegas plays tough. They'll play tough, but Denver's going to take this one, right? Don't you see Denver at Mile High, Invesco, whatever it's called now? Cardinals at 49ers. How does the Rams fan want this, right? I know Arizona beat us, but I'd much rather see them and Frisco 2-3 than Frisco 3-2. So I'm rooting for the Cardinals in this game, but I get the feeling Frisco's going to give them a beatdown. Hopefully, I want to see the Cardinals, play. I want to see that Kyler Murray that everyone wants to pull in the Hall of Fame. Let's see that Kyler Murray up at Levi Stadium this week. Packers at Rams in the John Hadel Bowl. Of course, the Rams could surprise. I think SM's making an argument for me right now, hopefully, and that'll encourage me. I want the Rams could surprise. The roster's there for them to surprise. Just not feeling it, though. They got to bring in Nolan Cromwell, Dave Elmendorf. Somebody give those safeties a pep talk. Giants at Seahawks, the Walter Thurman Bowl. Now, Steve Ramirez and I both covered Walter Thurman when he was at West Covina High School. Happy to see him get a ring in Seattle. Had a cup of coffee with the Giants. So the Walter Thurman Bowl, if everyone's healthy, in Seattle, Hawks romp. Sunday night, Cowboys at Steelers in the Preston Pearson Bowl. I am all about Steeler fan Rob this week. Steeler fan Rob, you want to get in the good graces of all Ram fans. Do not swallow the jalapeno against the Cowboys. They don't have Micah Parsons. or at least he's not going to be at full strength. I doubt if he's going to play much at all. They don't have DeMarcus Lawrence, right? And they still got, a limited, I think, Dak Prescott. They don't have a great running game. Can you do us a favor, Steeler fan Rob? Just for the pleasure of seeing the Cowboys lose. That's all I'm asking. Just win the Preston Pearson Bowl. Saints at Chiefs. That could be an interesting game Monday night. I'm going to be on the road. I'm going to be watching that from a hotel room on Monday night. That's the Barry Word Bowl. Remember Barry Word? He was the complement to Christian Okoye. It's the Barry Word Bowl. I think he went to University of Virginia. Saints find a way. Chiefs are the Chiefs. They're the team that keeps finding a way. They're just fun to watch, right? Even if you got to put up with Taylor, they're just fun to watch. There is an APB out. I don't think anyone's seen Brittany Mahomes on TV for a while. At least I haven't. So there we go. Let's look at some of the questions that came in, guys. I do appreciate them. SM, as the days go by, you're feeling better about the Rams' chances against Green Bay. SM's argument, Jordan Love hasn't played well. Christian Watson is hurt. Absolutely. If Stafford is on his A game, this game will be a nail biter. And I'm sick of nail biters. Can I just get a 28-0 Ram win? If anyone's got a connection with the football powers that be, can I get a 28-0 Ram win? I'm sick of nail biters. I'm running out of things to break in the RamCave, and I'm wearing out a hole in my carpet, which has a Rams emblem on it. But Christian Watson is hurt. But they got a whole plethora of wide receivers. Jordan Love, he's going to get back into rhythm. He threw 3 picks last week. But I think, that Ram back porch, the safeties and their corners, they are very accommodating of quarterbacks that need to get back on the beam. I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. And the Packers defense, I was surprised against Minnesota. I really was. I was surprised. I thought their defense is better, and I think it is. And I think they're going to get back on the beam. Minnesota's offense is better than the Rams right now. I was surprised that they were able to take apart Green Bay so much so early. So we'll see. And maybe there's just anger with the Rams getting so sick. LaFleur used to work under McVay. Maybe McVay wants to punch this kid, and get even. Michael Negretti, Pastor Joe, you're a Mets fan. Yes, I'm a Mets fan. When you're a Met, you're always a Met, right? You're the swingingest thing. Little boy, you're a man. Little man, you're a king, right? I'm all into the Mets. Yes, go Mets. Let's see. Bill, do the Packers receivers scare us this week? They do a little bit me. They do, but you know what? All the receivers scare me right now, right? I thought our best game probably was against Detroit, but Harrison had a great game against the Rams. Jawan Jennings had a great game against the Rams. What's his name? Caleb Williams kept finding open receivers against the Rams, kept getting bailed out by calls in the secondary. And the Packers receivers are talented. Romeo Doubs, some of those guys, that they have talent there. So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous, but I hope I'm wrong. Bill, I think the Rams will look more like a team that played Detroit and San Francisco than the one who lost to Arizona and Chicago. They show up against contenders, play down to average teams. That's the issue. I won't deny that. There is that tendency, take your foot off the accelerator. I am not going to argue that. I lived with that as a Ram fan growing up. You go someplace and you kick somebody's butt and you think the world is your oyster, and then you go to New Orleans and you swallow the jalapeno. You go to Atlanta and Tim Mazzetti's kicking 5 field goals on Monday night, right? And so, no, I hear you. I hear you about that. Bill, Michael Negretti, Jordan Love break a leg. I know you mean that in confidence, in happiness, right? I know you don't mean that in a mean, pejorative way, Mr. Negretti. Bill, how about the Astros in Baltimore losing in the first round? Who's going to stop the Yankees? Baltimore, this could be rewound to July. If they could have started the playoffs in July, Baltimore was really good this year. Baltimore was really good. And the Yankees, yeah. Yankees in the World Series, Yankees Mets. Yankees Dodgers would be interesting. I'm a Met fan, but I'm realistic. Everything I'm getting right now with the Mets is gravy. It's not like 2015 when they got there and they had the pitching and KC beat them. It's not like 2016 when they got to the playoffs and that giant guy that never lasted more than half a cup of coffee in the major leagues hit the 3-run homer in the top of the ninth, knocked him out. That was heartbreaking. 2 years ago was a bit heartbreaking. But this year it feels like I'm playing with house money. Not that I've ever played with house money, but I know what the term means. So yeah, Yankees look really good. I think Dodger fans, they're so jaded right now. They've literally said until they get to the World Series, I'm not cheering for them. Evan Hutz, can you tell us the story that goes with the classic Rams helmet to your right? Right here, Evan? Okay. Now, when I worked at Mid-Valley Sports, we did a show called the Mid-Valley Sports Show. And, we just brought in all of our gear. We had a big backdrop, and we kept this on the desk. And it belonged to a friend of mine who still helps run Mid-Valley Sports, Tim Peterson. He's in the press box every day with the Chargers and USC football. And so do you remember, some of us remember, you used to go to Gemco when there was a Gemco or Sears, and they'd sell you a little box, right? And for your team, and usually it was Rams, and you'd get a Ram helmet, you'd get shoulder pads, you'd get a pair of football pants, and you'd get a pretty generic looking jersey. And I had them before too, but I lost them. And my jersey was number 44 was Al Clark. And then over time you lose them and everything. One time I got my hands on a 49er one. I thought it was kind of cool because you just couldn't get all the different teams. And then so Mr. Peterson had this forever. And when I left the Mid-Valley Sports Show, he let me keep it for the RamCave. And so that's the story behind it. But I can tell you stories that people have put this thing on. If you want to look at it, it really hurts the ears, right? It really hurts the ears. Everyone has a Jim Plunkett face when they put this on. So, but that's the story behind the old helmet there. So getting that one out for you. Thank you for asking, Evan. Steve Ramirez, hate this MLB format. No place for wild cards when you play 162. I would say one wild card team. I would say one. I think it's a shame. What was it? 90? Was it 93? Was it 93? Giants won 100 games, didn't make the playoffs. I understand it. Dodgers at 62. I have no problem with one wild card team, just one, and getting to it. But there's too much money to make, right? Too much money to make. Evan Holtz, you're welcome. There we go. Let's look down here a little bit this day in Rams history. Not much. Tomorrow, October 3rd, Gary Green is born. Gary Green, who played at Baylor, was a second-round pick of the Chiefs in 77. Had some really Pro Bowl, all-pro years. One of the top corners in the NFL with the Chiefs through 1983. Rams gave up their number one pick in 84 to get Gary Green, and he gave them good seasons in 84 and 85. Then he had a neck injury. I think it was a herniated disc in his neck or something, and it cost him his career. But Gary Green was a solid 2-year corner for the Rams, and after playing most of his – there was a stretch there in Kansas City where they're running Lloyd Burris, Gary Barbaro, Deron Cherry, all those guys at safety. And then you're running Albert Lewis, Gary Green, Eric Harris, who played for the Rams. There was a lot of talent there in Kansas City coming out of the Emmett Thomas era, late 70s and through most of the 80s. Those guys are forgotten because, Bill Kinney could only do so much. Todd Blackledge whiffed. Steve Fuller was a miss, number one pick in 79. And it took them a while before Marty got there. They used Christian Okoye. Steve DeBerg had a career year. Things got on track for them for a while. They brought in Montana. I was a Chiefs fan. I kind of rooted for the Chiefs. I really liked the red and everything. I was a Hank Stram guy and everything. But Gary Green was really good for the Chiefs and gave the Rams 2 good years. And that is literally it in Rams history. It's about all I got there.
It was a stone groove, my man.
But getting back to the Rams and Packers this week, I don't want to break down the whole game because we're going to talk about it on Friday. But Packers offensive line is always solid. They brought in Josh Jacobs. That I don't think the Rams front seven is the problem, and that includes the 2 linebackers. It's the defensive backs. That's where the issues are. But if they keep pounding the ball, They are going to blow holes in this defense. They're going to pound it, blow holes, create opportunities for Jordan Love, and just the lack of plays. I mean, John Johnson had a pick. Who else has had a pick? Who else has made a play in the Rams secondary? Right? Who else has made a play in that Rams secondary? And it's really starting to bug me. Someone needs to make a play, right? They need playmakers, and it's just not happening. Or at least stay in position, don't get beat. So there's my struggle there. Defensively or offensively for the Rams, I'm glad the offensive line has got a third week together. I think they're going to be better than people think. Green Bay's really good against the rush. I trust McVay, though. I trust McVay that he's going to figure something out. I'd like to see something more in the red zone, but he's going to figure something out. We saw who was it a couple weeks ago? Was it who are they talking about? They said they couldn't stop the run, and then they were stopping the run, right? I forgot which team it was, but teams are week to week. You don't know what they're going to do, but Green Bay's run defense is good. Their defense overall is good. They can get to the quarterback. So McVay's going to have to be creative. But again, I like the offensive line. I think the Rams offensive line is going to get better with time. And so they're going to be okay. Just are they going to be okay enough against Green Bay, right? And I'm thinking, I don't know about Jackson, but I'm thinking Avila. I think Avila is more week 9 than definitely not week 7. I don't see it coming back week 7. So if this offensive line can stay up, they're going to get better. They've had flashes where they looked really good. I think they're just better clearing the road than putting too much on Stafford to have to get rid of the ball within 7/10 of a second. He just doesn't have time. He's going to take a beating. Protect your quarterback. Run the ball. Play action on first down. Come back and run the ball. SM, does Trey White get cut soon now that D. Will is coming back? Unless he's a problem in the clubhouse, which I don't think he is. There's no indication of that. He's only on a 1-year deal. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere, and so he's gonna be here for the whole season. Now, next year, I don't know. Darius Williams is a 3-year deal, but you can cut him after this year, and you're not taking too significant of a hit with a dead cap. So it's really fluid. Here's Kobe Durant is in his 3rd year now. He's not giving you any indication right now after those flashes his rookie year that he's going to be re-signed, right? Darian Kendrick is out. You'll get them both back for their 4th year, but what do you do? So the Rams are going to be, I think, in the market for a corner this offseason because you just don't know what you're getting. And also kind of curious to see with Charles Woods, Josh Wallace, 2 undrafted free agents they've kept on the active roster, and it must be for a reason. And anxious to see them play. Guys, we're closing in on an hour. I probably should wrap this thing up. SM, they need to use Parkinson more in the red zone. That was the point of signing him. I think there's some truth there, right? Bring in Parkinson along with Hunter Long, and Hunter Long can handle some of the blocking and free Parkinson up. I don't know. Do you think it's a rhythm thing with Stafford or not? Stafford and Higbee had a nice rhythm together. So I'm not sure what it is exactly, but that was part of the reason they brought in Parkinson. That was part of the reason they brought him in. Let's just hope there's no 1st and goals at the 9 or the 10. They really bugged me. Okay, guys, here we go. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It is 6:00 here. We've been together for an hour, and we are going to be back on Friday. Quick note, and I'll mention on Friday. Monday night, I'll be in a hotel room watching the Monday night game. So what it tells me is that 2 things. Either I am going to do a broadcast from the RamCave before I leave, which means an early morning. I got to go to Pismo Beach. So I'm either going to do a broadcast on Monday morning from the RamCave and then get on the road, or I'm going to do it from my hotel room in Pismo. I'm going to have a nice hotel room in Pismo. And then on Wednesday, I'll probably do a mid-morning broadcast because I still want to be in my hotel room. And then I'm actually going to be a guest on a radio show up in the Central Coast. And I think they're just recording it, but I'm going to be their guest, a friend of mine up there. And then I'm going to be on the road at someone's house on Friday. Actually, I'm going to be at the house of one of the guys that has built Bench the app. I'm going to be staying at their place on Friday. So I'm going to be in some different places, and my times might not be strictly 5 o'clock. So just letting you know, I'll talk more about it on Friday. All right, there we go. Thanks for hanging out. Go Rams. I will see you guys soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share. Take care.